Yeah. Welcome to the session, Bible Beats and Bars. You already know the business. I'm your host, Frederick Whitlow II. That's my government name. But most people know me as Mr. Whitlow or Minister Fred, too. Please do not call me Junior. We want to stay friends. So listen, we got a great show for you today. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget, every Monday, 7:30 p.m. Central. That's if you're traveling, right? But typically, we're on our first showing of this show, the session Bible Beats and Bars, is on Saturdays, every Saturdays at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're on the East Coast, then double up, go up once. You're 3 p.m. If you're on the West Coast, throw the W's up, go back to 12 noon. So listen, my guest today, a really good friend of mine, has an amazing journey and struggle. And we're going to talk about an organization that he has been given the gift and the privilege of serving in and for. So without any further ado, let's give him a professor. Let's go ahead and give him one this first song. We're gonna make it do what it do. I'm excited. Now this one is gonna be a funny. It's called Duh. If you didn't know, duh. So make sure you tune in. Listen, I know this is gonna be funny. So you might as well get your popcorn. Get you some Snickers. I'm a Snicker fan. Whatever kind of candy you want, because we're going down the lane and it's gonna be a ball. So here it is. Duh. Childlike CC. Toya Love, and Mike Teasy. We'll be right back. The session.
Surfer. I experience triumph, not in my own strength. I don't even be trying. Tell the devil stop talking to me when he speak, he lying. Truth ain't in you, so why would I let you continue? Don't let a hater tell you what God can't do. Really a follower, I cannot go like Saul. My heavenly Father, I say we were dead. Knew that he would do it. Does new to you, but it ain't new to us. Heavenly Father, by sin to Zion. We been knew that he would do it. He do what he does. New to you, but it ain't new to us. Been knew that he would do it. Pray without ceasing, I'm for peaking, helping I'm reaching, up on my defense, God is my offense. Tell you pray, yeah, I pray often. Prayer on repeat, never on retreat. Trinity with me, yeah, that's a three-piece. Give me the blood, yeah, I can show receipts. Child to the king, so I say we been knew that he would do it. Does new to you, but it ain't new to us. Heavenly thought by the sin of Zion. We been knew that he would do it. He do what he does. New to you, but it ain't new to us. Been knew that he would do it.
It's your boy Mike Teasy. Hey, we know you would do it. Talking in faith, I be speaking in fluent. I do. I've been in some dead situations, but came out the ground like a tumor. His way so higher than us that we can't understand everything that he doing. In the midst of the fight, when we start to get weak, he gon' give us the strength to endure it. Wait, I feel like Jack, cause I got some more answer to do. The enemy telling me lies, but why would I panic when not on that God is the truth? Look at my life, I can see all the proof. They put my Christ on the teeth for the crew. He paid the price already more than a few minutes. Track record solid, we already know.
I said we been knew that he would do it. Does new to you, but it ain't new to us. Heavenly thought by sin to Zion. We been knew that he would do it. He do what he does. New to you, but it ain't new to us. Been knew that he would do it.
Do what he does. Hey, welcome back to the session. You already know the business. On and popping. My guest in the building, none other than the man himself, is Dana Gillis. The crowd goes,
oh, that's just way too much.
How you doing, man?
What's going on, brother?
It's good, man. Well, listen, glad to have you in the show and being a part of the show. We got a lot of people out there looking and checking and listening. But I'm super excited because this show is transformative because it's really about what's happening in people's lives today. And you and your organization is on another whole level.
But we're trying to get there.
No. Trying is not. No, you're doing it.
We're on a trajectory.
There you go. I like that trajectory.
Yes, we're on an upward trajectory.
So we have in the building Mr. Dana, and the last name is Gillis. Man, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Fred. Glad to be here, Mr. Whitlow.
All right, Mr. Whitlow, we'll do that one today. Okay, so check it. Yeah, we friends, so y'all gonna got to deal with this because it's my homie right here.
Oh, there's gonna be
we dress up during the day, and like for all the board members, y'all know he really. Yes, my name is Dana. We'll Okay, whatever. But today, he's just Dana. I'm just Fred. So we always start out with 3 fun facts about who you are outside what we're going to talk about.
All right.
3 fun facts. No, facts number 1. Tell us something about Dana that we may not know.
Let's see. Fact number 1.
1.
I was a drum major of my college marching band.
Oh, he's a drum major. Do it, So you was on that track, the first one.
Oh yeah, that was me all the way. But if I tried to do some of those moves now, I'd leave a hip bone somewhere.
You like this? Can you get the ambulance quickly? So listen.
And body parts.
Okay, fact number 2. Talk to the folk, man.
Let's see. Fact number 2. I got my airborne wings in the Army. I was a field artillery.
Really?
Fact number 2. Yeah. Jumped out of airplanes, and my mother just said, "Boy, what is wrong with you?"
Yo, that's so cool. Oh man. So how long did you serve?
I served for 3 years. I went through the ROTC program at school.
Okay.
And came out as a second lieutenant. Could have made a career, but it took a turn in a different direction.
Okay, that's cool. Fact number 3.
Fact number 3. I worked with a Supreme Court justice early in my career.
Really? So wait. Okay, so this we ain't even got to the real juicy stuff, y'all. I feel like going to another video, but we got to talk about this. So what were you in the profession of going to pre-law or something?
All right, so you know what my career was.
I
was
mean,
a
but
special agent
know.
with the
They don't know.
FBI.
Yeah, so
24 years.
Wow.
And at one point, I served on the independent counsel staff under Kenneth Starr.
Get out of here.
Yep. I was the lead agent in Washington, D.C. on that case.
Wow.
So not only did I work for Kenneth Starr, Alex Azar, who was the Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Health and Human, right.
He was there in one office on one side, and on the other side was this very obscure gentleman that I'm sure nobody ever heard of, Brett Kavanaugh.
Wow. Really?
Really.
Wow.
So I worked in the same office with all those folks, and I kept looking at my career going, see where they went. What happened to my career?
Well, but again, I think, the master plan has a unique plan for everybody. And so think about it. If you would have gone that route, you wouldn't be sitting in this seat doing so much good in this community at large.
For me, it's all divine providence. I was where I was supposed to be at a given point in time, and I'm where I'm supposed to be right now.
All right. So I got to ask one more before, then we'll go into another segue in the video.
Okay.
So do you have a favorite quote and or a favorite scripture that you live by, since you believe in divine appointments? And I do too.
I think one of the people that I have admired for quite some time in my life is Colin Powell. Colin Powell, former head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, former Secretary of State. And he had this one quote that came out in his book, My American Journey. And it was, dreams are not magic. Achieving your dreams is not magic. It takes sweat.
Wow.
It takes determination. It takes hard work.
Yeah.
And for me, that's just the driver for everything that I do each and every day.
So as a man because I know this gentleman as a man who is a man of integrity, a gentleman across the board. Even if you see him in his field of career now and where he sits in terms of position, it's funny. We were at a meeting just recently, a few days ago, and then we had a fun activity. Shout out to Trustmark. They did their thing.
Oh yeah.
And it was just amazing to see when you walked in and how you were so gentle with the kids that were there, how you opened the door for the ladies, even though there was someone to greet and open the door. And that speaks volumes to who you are. So I want to ask a question about your backstory. Who is Dana Gillis outside all of the accolades and outside what you do now?
It's kind of funny that when I got up this morning, I looked at the calendar and it's August 28th. And today would have been my father's 85th birthday if he were still alive. And I can say the person that I am comes exactly out of all that he was.
Wow. Wow.
He was that guy that just in the neighborhood, everybody knew who he was. They basically nicknamed him the mayor. And all the kids loved him. All of the parents, he was the go-to guy for everything. And he was always there trying to lead the way for the three boys that he was bringing.
That's powerful.
And I think for me, I got that first sense of, you got to be here on this earth to serve. That was where it came from. And I think that grounds everything that I've tried to do throughout the course of my life.
You know, it's and I'll say this, for those who are watching for the first time, one of the things about this show, the session live, is that we're very intentional about sharing stories that are, one, transformative, two, that literally empower people's progress, and three, that they are able to articulate, share so that we understand in a way that inspires, encourages, and uplifts. And we're glad to have you on the show, Professor Erickson, myself, the entire team at No More Dirty. What you do, and I see him all the time because we work in spaces of social services, working with youth and families all the time. And I just applaud you for your humility, your expertness, and I always say this all the time. You know, I am a fan of seeing another brother walking in excellence. So kudos to you for that.
Oh man, you're making me feel very humble at this point.
Right. Well, I think sometimes we fail as human beings to celebrate greatness. You understand? That's because a lot of times it's either competitive. I'm competing with your organization. I'm competing with your title, and then you got people competing outside the ethnicity of African American and or other cultures, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you got competition versus collaboration. You got pitting power moves against partnerships. And I think this show here is really all about, wow, it can really be done in excellence.
You know, I appreciate that. I think, one of the things that I really focus on is it's not about me. It's always been about the mission and service. And I think that comes from just my family in general. I talked about my father, but I think about, I've got a great uncle in the DC passed away several years ago. And my Uncle John was that guy that was always involved with helping his fellow man. He was service oriented. He was involved in the Masons, and he rose to the highest ranks up in the DC area with the Prince Lodge. And I just remember that he made such an impression on me as a little kid.
Yeah.
Because it was, wow, I want to have that kind of an impact. Not because I'm looking for glory, but I want to make a difference.
Right. And what we're going to do, we're going to go to a song, and this is going to be fun. You all are going to enjoy this song. It's called "Rake It Up," and it's a rhythm rhyme, a hip hop tune, but it's some kids doing their thing, talking about education, which is right up your alley.
Oh, absolutely.
So, without any further ado, we want you to check out this song. It's called the Carter Link. It's the Carter family, and they got a song called "Rake It Up." We'll be right back. You tuned in to the session. I'm your host, Mr. Whitlow, and my homie, Mr. Gillis.
All right,
we'll be right back. Say no to drugs, all of them.
Girl, I'm so ready for school.
Girl, me too. My daddy said for every day I get $5.
Rake it up remix. Back to school, let's get it, let's get it, let's get it. I tell all my kids, go rake it up, break it down. We college bound, them A's you rake it up. I said to rake it up, them A's you rake it up. Go out and rake it up. I said all my kids, go rake it up, break it down. We college bound, them A's you rake it up. I said to rake it up, them A's you rake it up. Go out and rake it up.
Back on my grind, the summer over. I gotta get my head back straight like a soldier. I'm trying to make them A's just like my daddy told you. So I do my homework, study hard like I'm supposed to. Get 5 for the A's and 4 for the B's. I ain't never made a C, but they go for the 3. Now
kids, go rake it up.
Get up,
Break it down.
break it down.
We college bound.
college bound.
Them A's you rake it up.
Break it up, break it
I
up.
said to rake it up.
Break it up, break it
Them
up.
A's you rake it up.
Break it up, break it
Go
up.
out and break it up.
Break it up,
My
break it
daughter
up.
call me dad. The kids call me coach. My 4th year teacher, so I already know. We may be underpaid, but value for sure. We gotta train these kids up in the way they should go. Our kids are a gift. Our kids are a blessing. To whom much is given, no much is expected. We gotta teach his lessons. We gotta hold firm. We gotta know that even if he wrong, he can learn. We may not discern what he knows from his answer, but who's to say he might be the one that killed cancer? That's why I love him, love him, love him. Let them know that I'm there. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Do you care? And love them like your own, cause some of these kids won't get it from home. And do you care? And love them like your own, cause some of these kids won't get it from home. I tell all my kids, go rake it up.
Break it up.
Break it down. Break it down. We college bound. We college bound. Them A's you rake it up. I said to rake it up. Go out and rake it up. I said to rake it up. Rake it up. Yeah. 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 Just a little something, you know what I'm saying? Back then, you get your mind right. Just want to do something with my daughter, you know what I'm saying? Then for all my kids, you know, out there who know what it is, man, y'all go handle y'all business, man. Whether I'm there for you every single day, whether you a former student or a current student or whatever, man. Love y'all, man. Y'all go out there, go be special, go be great, man. Rake it up. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Rake it up. What do you think about
Break it up.
Rake it up.
Sorry, I had to come out of it for a second.
come out and sleep for a second. Hey, welcome back to the session. We are having a ball. We're here with my man, Mr. Dana Gillis of Village of Promise. Now, listen, that video is so the organization that you rock with. All the kids you work with, I work with you in partnership with the organization I'm a part of as well in housing. Let's talk about how you got to go from government law enforcement, high executive management, and that to now. He is now, folk, the executive director for the Village of Promise, which is one of the most amazing nonprofits in our community that's really boots on the ground. There it is. Shout out to my man, Professor X. Man, you love you, bro. This guy here, I can go on and on, but I really want us to get in and talk about the organization. So why don't you share a little bit about the organization and the mission of Village of Promise?
All right, I'll tell you a little bit about that, and then I can talk about how I actually came
That'd
in
be great.
to
Yes.
this line of work.
That'd be great.
The Village of Promise is a family advancement center, and what we are trying to do is help families move out of generational poverty.
Mm.
And we've kind of taken a model out of the playbook of the Harlem Children's Zone. I know you know
Yeah.
Jeffrey Canada.
Came on down. Yes, sir.
And,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
he just decided after all the good things that happened in his life, you know, he grows up in abject poverty in
Seriously.
New York, up in Harlem. And then one day after he's made his fortune on Wall Street, it's how did I get out of this situation? But people that were right beside me didn't.
Right.
So he planted a flag in Harlem and he said he was going to change Harlem one block at a time.
Wow.
And Bobby Bradley and Gloria Betts, our founders, decided they wanted to do something similar here in Huntsville in one of our local communities. But it's a long-term project, and they decided, let's find the poorest community in Huntsville. They looked at census data going back to 2010,
Correct.
and they got to figure out, whoa, that's right here in the Northwoods, up in the north side of Huntsville.
Right off of University Drive.
So they go into Northwoods in that particular community, and Bobby starts to ride around. You've also got the Love neighborhood, which is adjacent to it. And Bobby realized that's where I grew up.
Wow.
So she had a real stake in wanting to change the trajectory of lives here in the Northwoods community. And we're going to focus on helping children try to make that leap out of generational poverty. And as we like to say, we're going to stay with those kids from cradle to career.
You know, one of the things I love about the organization, well, first of all, I'm actually engaged in it anyway, personally, but also through my employment at Huntsville Housing Authority. But what I really appreciate about Village of Promise and you is that, You take the word try and turn it into stride. And because, I'm always talking to kids all the time, Mr. Willow, I'm trying. No, we're not going to try. We're going to do.
Absolutely.
Now you can strive toward that doing, but we're not just going to stop at try. And I love the fact that you all are boots on the ground. I see all the time. I love your staff. We kick it all the time. Come to all of my meetings. It's just on and popping. But I love that. So let's talk about the mission in terms of the scope of the kids that you serve. What's the ages? Let's talk a little bit about that, because I think for those that are listening, they're going to say, because we're going to talk about how they can get involved too as well.
Okay.
And someone throughout this program.
So I think when people think about the Village of Promise, they think about our preschool. So we start off with kids as young as 6 weeks of age, and we have them up through 5 years of age. And our mission is to get them ready and competitive when they go into the K through 12 school system.
Love it. Yeah.
So we start off with a pre-K4 program. So that's a funded program by the state where kids actually have educational opportunities and preparation to get them ready to make that leap into the kindergarten classes. And, we started that back in 2018. But the other thing is, parents, if they want to get ahead in life, you're trying to get a job, you're trying to go to job interviews, they need daycare.
Correct. Which is the number one impactful factor that builds sustainable poverty.
Oh, absolutely. If you can't do that, can't take care of your kids and have a safe place to go, you can't go to work.
Exactly.
So we started a program where we'll take kids as young as 6 weeks of age and bring them into our licensed daycare / preschool facility. We're licensed for 64 kids, and our commitment is to stay with these kids all the way to the 12th grade, like we say, from cradle to career. And what we're trying to do is build programs to support them when they're in elementary school, when they hit middle school, once they go into high school, and even into college. So we build those things that are value adds to the educational system.
So one other thing before we go to another video is let's talk about the intentionalness of Village of Promise. How intentional and what does that look like? If I walked into, if one of our viewers, and there's a lot of people, they walked in and said, I'm going to go check out, I want to do a tour, I want to see what you guys are really doing over there. What would they see?
They're going to see is a lot of kids running in 20 different directions. That's the first thing you're going to see. We've got a dedicated staff just trying to focus on getting our kids ready to be competitive when they go into the school system. We have been very successful with 4 cohorts that have graduated from our preschool into kindergarten.
Love that.
100% of those
100.
kids.
Wait, say it again. How many percent?
100%. Every kid
Yes, sir.
is kindergarten ready.
And looking at what's happening now in from the state and also in the many states and federal, if they're not ready by the time they get to the 3rd grade, they're building prison pipelines because they're not ready to compete in literacy and critical thinking, mathematics and science.
Absolutely.
And the ability to have relationships and personal skills that turn into soft and eventually hard skills.
And basically that's it. By the time they go to the 3rd grade, they're looking at those 3rd grade reading and test scores.
That's it.
That is where they determine how many prisons they're going to need to build.
Correct.
15 years down the road.
And it also determines how many people that will be categorized is in the categories of poverty and working poor, meaning working without benefits outside an hourly wage, $10 an hour, 12. The cost of living right now is right at $17 an hour in our
Absolutely.
City and county. So if you're making a little less than less than 16 to 17, you're actually leaning in a spiral direction and working poor and leaning even deeper into poverty.
That's exactly it. And what we're trying to do is equip kids to overcome one of the first levels that they have to overcome, which is under-resourced households. Those kids, by the time they get to kindergarten, have a 30 million word deficit.
Wow.
Those are
30 million.
words that are, our parents are not reinforcing, reading to children every day, just talking to children, having conversations every day that resourced families have.
we're going to go to a video. It's ABCs, and I want to talk a little bit more about that impact and how Village of Promise is making a significant imprint, not just impact, but an imprint. We'll talk about that on the backside of this video. It's the ABCs of our history because we deal with so many Black and brown families in our program, and specifically as you work in Village of Promise. So I want you to check out this video. We'll be right back. I hope you're enjoying this, and kudos to the Village of Promise staff because, love you guys. We'll be right back. Yep.
Do great things. You are young, but do not let anyone treat you as if you are not important. Be a good example to show the believers how they should live. Show them with your words, with the way you live, with your love, with your faith, and with your pure life.
Whatever you do everything for the glory of God. 1 Corinthians 10:31.
I got blessings. 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 I got blessings.
Let's go.
I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings coming from above, coming from the Lord, perfect like a white dove. I got God's love everywhere I go. Like a flood, the blessings overflow. The blessings follow me everywhere I go. What does the future hold? Only God knows. One blessing that's better than gold. Jesus Christ saved my life and my soul. For that I give him glory, for that I give him praise. Everywhere I go, I'm representing God's name. Who am I? Yea, the gift I was given by God. Made in his image, I was blessed right from the start. I got blessings, I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings, I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings, I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings, I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings, I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings, I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings, I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings, I got blessings everywhere I got blessings, I got blessings. I am loved, no question. Jesus loves me, this I know, 'cause the Bible tells me so. I have everything I need, most of what I want. I can't front, I am blessed. Call me princess, no less. Child of the King, my God is everything. He lives in me. 1 and 2, call me little DP. Taught to count my blessings, learning all my lessons. I love Jesus, I must tell it. I got blessings. Grace and mercy, they follow me. God's will is calling me, drafting me to the big league. I do it all for His glory, offer no apology. Sorry, I'm not sorry. I do it for my Savior. He's the one who gives me favor. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings.
God bless us.
I got blessings. I got blessings. I got blessings.
Blessings.
I got blessings.
Blessings.
I got blessings.
Blessings.
I got blessings. I got blessings. I got blessings.
Okay, let's go.
Everywhere I go, they follow me. The blessings follow me. Yeah. Blessings, blessings. Where I go, they follow me. The Lord is blessing. blessings, I got blessings. I got blessings, I got blessings. I got blessings, I got blessings. I got blessings, I got blessings.
Let's go.
I got blessings, I got blessings. I got blessings, I got blessings.
Blessing.
I got blessings, I got
I
blessings.
got blessings. I got blessings. I got blessings.
Wait a minute. Get up, huh? I just had the weirdest dream. Me too. You were in a rubber ducky room with all these blessings, and you had on socks just like these. Well, I saw you in a Spider-Man room with these blessings and some Spider-Man with a chain just like this.
I got blessings. I got blessings. I got blessings. I got blessings.
Princess name. Let's go.
I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings everywhere I go. I got blessings. I got blessings.
No More Dirty TV show, hosted by Minister Fred 2, airing the cleanest and dopest music videos in the industry every Wednesday and Friday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on the No More Dirty Inc. YouTube channel. We got clean, positive Christian hip hop and urban music for your viewing and listening pleasure. We also have music video exclusives, interviews, ciphers, life lessons, and more. Make sure to follow us at Minister Fred 2, at No More Dirty Inc., and at No More Dirty Radio Show. For more information, email us at info@nomoredirty.org or call 256-698-9749. The No More Dirty TV Show. Connect with us. Tune in.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Welcome back to the session live with my man, Mr. Dana Gillis.
All right.
So listen. I got a couple of house announcements to make, and then we'll get right in because we got to talk about your journey into this organization, Village of Promise. You good?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So every Friday, let me give you the rundown. We got quite a bit going on our content page. So if you have not, this is your first time watching or not, we have a YouTube channel, No More Dirty Inc. No More Dirty Inc. Make sure you subscribe because on Fridays we do Wednesday nights now and Friday nights at 7:30. We do a music video TV show. So kids love music videos. We love music videos. You remember like back in the day they would have 106 and Part, this and that, boom, boom, boom. Well, a lot of those shows have kind of dissipated. They're no longer. And then a lot of times it was really challenging in some way that the whole family could sit down and enjoy. Now we have some really clean music videos, all different styles, different ethnicities, and it's called the No More Dirty TV Show. Shout out to my co-host, DB Real Music. He's a hip hop artist, completely clean and inspirational. And that's on Fridays again, Wednesday nights, and also Friday nights, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Then on Saturdays, we do the session. This is what you get. That's mommy. You guys hadn't seen him. I might have him come up before the end of the night. It's Professor X. He partners with me here on the Sessionist, and this is transformative talk show. And if you're doing great things, please reach out to us at our website, nomoredirty.org, info@nomoredirty.org, or if you want to get connected, that's what we do. And then on Sundays, let's go back to Sunday, because for those that love radio, you love the music, the boom bap. I'm a big hip hop head, and I love urban music, but it's all clean. So shout out to my man Ed Gaines, G93 Radio. It's an app. You guys can listen to it every Sunday. We're on at 5 p.m. Great show, great music, life lessons, completely family friendly. And then 6 o'clock, we're on We 103.1. You all know that's a household name here in our local community. We a community connected station. Shout out to my man, Mr. Kelly, and of course, Mr. Hunley Batts Sr., who gave me the opportunity to do this. So we're on 6 p.m. on Sunday evenings, and then we're on globally on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern or 3 p.m. our time. We do envision-radio.com, and then we're in 22 states now, 22 countries, sharing this positive music message and things of that nature. So again, go to the website if you want to learn more about it, or if you want to be a partner like we do. It's nomoredirty.org. Invest, share, invite, volunteer, and just partner. All right, there you go. I had to get it out.
All right, you got it all in.
Get it all in, right? All right, so I'm back with my man, Mr. Dana. So let's talk about your journey. How did you go from where you were, FBI, amazing work, and then a man of color doing this for 24 years? I mean, like, that's stellar. How did you get to the Village of Promise seat?
I think it really comes out of some of the work that I was doing in the FBI, especially in Washington.
Okay.
You know, I was there in the late 1980s, early 1990s, and that was when the crack epidemic was in full swing. But a lot of the work that I was doing, especially when I was working in positions related to drug crime and gang crime in the DC area.
Wow.
You can imagine what that was like.
Well, I already know,
Southeast DC.
Oh my goodness.
There wasn't a night that you couldn't hear gunshots going off in that area. But the thing is, you get sick and tired of putting handcuffs on people that look like you do.
That's it.
And my question was, how do you intervene early enough in life to keep this from happening?
Which is powerful. And that's how you create ongoing productive legacies.
It's that, you know, looking at that pipeline of people that just kept going into the system and rolled the film ahead about 30 some odd years. I think that was God reaching out going, you know, remember what you said 30 some odd years ago? You asked that question.
Yes,
well, here is your answer in the Village of Promise. You know, I ran across the founder, Bobby Bradley, and we had a conversation, and she said, hey, just come over and take a look. Because every time she asked, would you like to do this? No, I'm retired. But
kickback.
Coming in and just seeing the kids that were there and seeing that spark, it was just one of those things that grabbed my heart. And I said, this is where I got to be. But when I talked to my wife about it, the one thing she said is, it would be criminal if you didn't.
Woo, wait. Shout out to First Lady.
Yes.
Shout out to you for real, because you know what? That is very powerful. And we're going to talk about the programs, but that's powerful in two reasons why I'm saying. One, because a lot of times if they don't see excellence in our community, there's an assumption that there's not enough excellence in our community. Two, to be a black man who cares in this time, yet understands and loves all ethnicities, helps other young brothers and sisters, young men and boys and girls, see that we can work together, we can play together, we can do business together without treating each other in some kind of way that's just not helpful, nor is it going to it'll only hinder the progress of the overall. Because if you're in prison, we're losing money. If you have a job, career, retirement benefits, life insurance, FMLA, you start adding all of that, then you become an asset to the community outside your family and the local government. So you sitting in that seat, Doc, means much more than what may be perceived.
Well, I think from my standpoint, it's just you have to find a way to contribute and make a difference with the talents that you've been given. And for me, it's an opportunity to, one, model a different way.
That's great.
I was a little kid. I had no idea what the FBI was about, but I remember watching a television show every Sunday night. Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. I know y'all are too young to remember that. But I'm like, every Sunday I was mesmerized, but there was nobody on it that looked like I did. But I still didn't see a barrier. And I just thought, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there.
And I think you sit at the helm of Village of Promise as the executive director. Let's talk about some of your programs. I love your programs.
You know, like I said, we're a family advancement center. So we've got two different sides. One is focused on kids, and that's called Promise Preparatory. And that's where we have our preschool. We're licensed for 64 kids that are part of that school. But for every kid that's in the school, there is a parent that has to be part of our programs. So on the other side, we have Promise Institute, and those are the programs focused on the families, because you can't overcome generational poverty
Come on.
just being focused on the kids, because you can do all that you want from an educational standpoint focused on kids, but they go home to the reality of a situation that may not be the positive environment that
That's true.
they want to be a part of.
Right.
So we bring the families along with Promise Institute. Programs that we have under Promise Preparatory, we've got a summer reading program called Freedom School.
And that's lovely. That is thebomb.com, as they used to say in the old school.
That is a Cadillac reading program that's produced by the Children's Defense Fund up in Washington. Marion Wright Edelman was the one that started the program. So, we're in there trying to teach kids how to read, a love of reading, and we want to make sure that minority kids don't lose the learning over the summer. So we've got reading during the day, but experiential learning opportunities in the afternoons.
And I love that, because what happens is, and we talk about that, and most of us who are in the area of education or working in social and health, human services, we understand that when the kids go and get out for a break, they lose half during the fall and the spring break. But when they get out during the summer, they lose 1 to 2 grades of critical curriculum learning in the span of 3 months.
And that was really devastating for our communities. You throw the pandemic on top of it. So we didn't have it for 2020 and 2021. So this year was the first time we brought it back in several years.
Yeah.
We had 50 kids in our program. We worked very closely with St. Bartley Church over in our community.
Pastor,
oh man, Pastor Mooney and his staff were incredible.
Amazing.
Gave us a great place to have that reading program. So we do that, and the reading program even has a component where we bring the adults in, because we want to make sure that they continue those things about reading to kids and showing the importance of reading. And we help the kids build their own personal libraries as part of that program.
The other thing too, I think you could touch on is what you're doing with you have adult learning opportunities there as well. Could
Yes,
you share
we
that?
do.
Because I think you're absolutely right. If there's a breakdown between the parents' growth and development and only just kids, because the kids don't pay the bills, the kids don't have they don't have the acclimate to be able to do that at their age.
So 2 of the programs that we've got for the adults, one is called Family Connections, and it's based on having parent and child together time, basically teaching families those skills that you and I might take for granted, but it's things like sitting together for a meal every single day.
Come on now. Come on.
Having that conversation about how your day went, what does tomorrow look like, what are your friends like?
Without doing this.
Yep, we take away those cell phones, and it's a conversation. We do things like play board games. We go old school.
I love Uno.
Oh, Uno, Monopoly. Man,
Oh,
give me that Monopoly money. I'm ready to rock and roll.
we're gonna have to go to work.
Oh yeah.
We gonna do that. Second one. Okay, so you got that.
So we got that program,
Right.
and then we also have one that's called. Let's see, I'm sorry. The other program that we've got is
Next steps.
Next Steps, and that's a program that has things like our GED program.
Right.
So you got folks that have never gotten their high school diploma for whatever reason. We do have that program in conjunction with Drake State.
And I love that, because you have some of my families.
Oh, this has been fantastic.
It's been crazy fun.
When I came in, we had 2 people that were diligently coming in for those programs back in July of last year. Now we're up to 12 people
Come on
that
now.
are in the program.
Preach that.
So that is growing by leaps and bounds. And the other thing is we have a lot of Latino families
That's
that
right.
take advantage of our
That's
programs. But English is not their primary language. So this year we're starting English as a second language
Come on now.
as one of our programs, because we want to make sure that everybody is prepared to be competitive in today's workforce.
All right, so we got to go to a music video. I know that the one we did was Blessing. Shout out to Little DP. But we're going to go, let's do, Professor, let's do the ABCs of our history. I think that's the one we have. Yeah, let's do that one, because I meant to do that one on the front end, but we're going to bring it in. And then we're going to finale with, we got to talk about some of your initiative. We got to talk about One Table.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk
and
about
then
One Table.
what's next and where you're going in terms of that. So here we go. You already know the business. Let's do it. ABCs of our history. And that lines right up with reading, articulation, and literature. We'll be right back with Mr. Gill.
ABCs of history. Our past is not a mystery. We're bold, smart, free, and strong. Our history's rich and very long. A like Angela, fierce as a panther. B like the astronomer, Benjamin Banneker. C like Charles, making medical advances. D like the Duke, adding just to all the dances. It's the ABCs of history. Our past is not a mystery. E like Ella, belting out the blues. F is for Fannie Lou and Frederick Douglass too. G like George, a farmer and a scientist. H like creative Harlem Renaissance artist. The ABCs of history. Our past is not a mystery. I for Issa, writing funny scripts. J like Jackie, smacking balls that they pitch. K for Kobe, had the fire in the grit. L like Langston, a poet, what a gift. The ABCs of history. Our past is not a mystery. M for May, blasting off into the sky. N like Nina, singing about black pride. O is for Oprah, the queen of daytime. P like Pharrell, mixed beats with rhymes. It's the ABCs of history. Our past is not a mystery. Q for the queen, she raps to the beat. R like Rosa, not giving up her seat. S for Serena, always winning to inspire. T like Thomas, extinguishing the fire. It's the ABCs of history. Our past is not a mystery. U is for the USA, built on our backs. V like Bessie, he plans to fight back. W for Whitney, an angelic voice. X like Malcolm, freedom by force. U is for you, bright and smart as can be. Z like Zaila, winning though her spelling bee. It's the ABCs of history. Our past is not a mystery. We're bold, smart, free, and strong. Our history's rich and very long. It's the ABCs of history. Our past is not a mystery. We're bold, smart, free, and strong. Our history's rich and very long.
Yo, this is DB Real Music, and you are tuning in to the Sessions, Bible, Beats, and Bars. Once again, that's Bible, Beats, and Bars with the boy, with the homie, Minister Ed #2. God bless. Thank y'all. We're here. Keep tuning in. We love y'all. Peace.
Mr. Fred #2.
Number 2. That's it. So listen, as we wrap up, we got to talk about a few things. And again, thank you for being on the show. This has been
thanks
great.
for having me. This has been great.
Man, this is bananas. So let's talk about some of your community initiatives. You got One Table, so that's coming. You know, that's every year. Talk about that, I think, or any other initiatives that you want to talk community.
Yeah, One Table is coming up on November the 20th, so save the date. It's that Monday before Thanksgiving.
Come on now, we go eat.
And yeah, this is one of those things. All we want you to do is come out and have a good meal and get to know somebody that you haven't seen before.
Wow.
Our slogan is come as strangers, leave as friends.
Love that.
And this comes out of, last year, something that happened with the city of Huntsville, where, they were named the #1 city to live in all of the country. And that is a great accolade. But as I keep reminding my staff and others that I talk to, I could go into the Northwoods community and ask that same question, and I think you're going to get a totally different answer.
And I think that's the value of working together. That's the value of synergy, the value of community engagement.
And that's really what One Table is
about. On all sides.
And one table is to get the suits from downtown and the big businesses out on in the other parts of the community to come out and sit at this table, but also sit there with folks that come from Northwoods, that come from those
Butler
areas
Terrace,
that are
Meadow-
like Butler Terrace,
Meadow Hills, and
all
over
those
there.
communities
Yeah.
to come together for a meal, just to have a conversation over a good meal.
And I mean, they have food. I'm a vegetarian, so they got some for vegetarians. They got some vegan. They have some.
Hey, Fuji
regular
Vegan is
Fuji-
already on
oh,
board.
man, you already know, man.
And
It's
we're going to
gonna be-
have the turkey and
Oh, my
dressing and all
goodness, it's
those
gonna be on
trimmings
and
for
popping,
everybody.
brother.
So come on out that day. That'll be on November the 20th from 11:30 to 1:30 at Big Spring Park.
All right. Let's talk about what's happening new. Some new strides. Let's talk a little bit about that as we wrap up.
Basically, one of the things we're trying to bring on board this year is a digital literacy program. We talked
That's
about
good. Yeah.
next steps,
Next steps.
but it's one of those things in today's world. They talk about the digital divide, and it's those individuals that kind of get left behind because you have to know those basic skills. How do you put together a spreadsheet? How do you put your resume together and then attach it and send it on an email
From your phone,
Yeah,
which has to be a smartphone.
right. Some of us
Don't
we
even
can
have a phone.
navigate that, but there are others have no idea how to do those things. And we want to make sure that people have the basic skills so that they can go out and compete for these jobs that are coming in that require, those base skills from a technological standpoint. Once you get that base down, you are unstoppable and can basically make the world whatever you want it to be. So digital literacy is one of those big things that we're going to do. We're looking at our new speaker series program.
Yeah, that's amazing.
We had a very successful one back in May of this
May.
year.
Yes.
Brought in a good buddy of mine, Leland Melvin, who has the distinction of being the only astronaut
Come on.
that's ever been drafted by the NFL. He
Say
was
that.
drafted by the Detroit Lions
Yes,
and then
sir.
got traded to the Cowboys, my favorite team.
For sure.
And then they wore him out. He got hurt. And then, as one does, you leave the NFL and you become an astronaut.
Yeah, that's a migration from one to the other.
But Leland was a great advocate for children and especially taking advantage of STEM education. I've been meeting with folks over at the Space and Rocket Center. They've got scholarships
Yes.
for people to go to space camp. And we're trying to identify people in our community
Come on
so
now.
that they can become part of that conversation in what's happening in the world of space. We've got Blue Origin in our back
That's it.
pocket,
That's right.
sending rockets up so that people
That's
can
it.
become space tourists, but also the engine that's going to take the brother who's going to be piloting this thing
Come on now.
back to the moon
That's
next
it.
year. So that hasn't happened in decades, and we're going to go back to the moon, and we haven't been there since 1972.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
So we got those initiatives coming, and we just want to join and invite you all to come out. Just keep looking at our social media feeds, and you'll see information about those upcoming events and initiatives that we've got at the village. Something is always happening at the Village of Promise.
So why don't you give them the website? And then also I'm excited because Village of Promise is also going to be partnering. You'll be a part of our third annual Good Music and Arts Festival. So get a chance to do your thing out there. They have a big display out there. And just, we have the summit, stopping the violence, and also working in the area of DV, domestic violence. We'll send more information and we'll show it on there in the last video. But your website, give them your website.
Our website is www.villageofpromise.org.
It's on the screen right there.
And you can come out and check us out on the web. There's opportunities to learn more about the village, opportunities to volunteer, to be a part of our programs as we go about the business of transforming lives one family at a time.
So let me do this. Let me just show up a prayer because I believe his hand is all in Village of Promise and some inspiration. And then we're going to take you out. Let's take them out with Mr. Johnson has a song called Man Up. At some point, we got to make decisions that we become accountable and what have you. And then shout out to him again, my friend and my buddy, Professor X. He'll show you some of the different things that are coming up, the summit, the festival, Clean Comedy Show. So you can bring your family out again. And of course, we'll have a few tickets to give away to some of your fams. So let me pray real quick for the Village of Promise, and then we're going to get out.
All right, brother.
So God, we want to say thanks again for this amazing conversation. Thank you for my brother, Dana Gillis, and the entire team and support and staff and the volunteers and the board of Village of Promise. I pray that you would bless them as they continue to make these strides, and as they continue to do that which is pleasing to the development of these young people and their families. We thank you so much. We ask that you bless them over and abundantly, and we'll be sure to give you the honor and praise in the name of Christ Yeshua, that is Jesus of the Bible. Amen.
Amen.
Again, I want to say thanks, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Man, really appreciate
Oh
you.
man,
too,
you
for
already know, man.
partnership. And
Oh my goodness. If it ain't housing, it's no more dirty. If it ain't no more dirty, it's Village of Promise. If it ain't Village, it's just us.
That's it. It's just us kicking it.
So again, we want to say thanks again. Any closing words? You good?
Just come out and be a part of our village. And like I tell people, I ask them to ask themselves this one question every day: what am I going to do today to transform a life? And that's really what it's about at the Village of Promise.
So there it is. You got it. villageofpromise.org. You know the business. And we will see you soon again. So thanks again for tuning in. Hey, Professor, let's take him out with Man Up with Mr. Johnson. And you can just share all the different videos and things that are coming up. We want to see you out at everything the village is doing and what we're doing here. No More Dirty.
Real men put Christ at the head of their life. Cause a real man of this power and prayer, so he pray every day and night. Bro, I'm talking about men. We don't be on not girl, we don't cheat on not white. But with a white feel to a real man, and with the church is the Christ. Bro, I'm talking about men. Man up, man up, man up. Bro, I'm talking about men. Bro, I'm talking about men. Man up, man up. Bro, I'm talking about men. Bro, I'm talking about men. Man up, man up. Bro, I'm talking about men. Bro, I'm talking about men. Man up, man up. Bro, I'm talking about men. Straight up, no cap, bro, I love mine. They gon' call me 5-0 because I knew from the very start when she stole my heart. Had to put the cuffs on her like a one time for the fella. Instead of the altar, say for worse or for better. Through all stormy weather, you gonna protect us. Could go through it all, but you gon' stay together. No matter whatever may come our way. Every day ain't Sunday, but that's okay. Cause before we separate, we gon' go to our separate rooms and kneel down and pray. Hey, whatever it takes to keep a happy home. God in it with us, can't do this alone. Man of the house, so I gotta stay strong. Even if that mean to me and I'm wrong. Ain't gotta always be right. We ain't gonna always get along, but we gonna always be nice. This ain't gonna always try to steer confusion between a husband and his wife. So we keep God in the center, cause we can do all things through Christ. Man, I'm talking about men. Real men put Christ at the head of their life. Cause a real man of this power and prayer, so he pray every day and night. Bro, I'm talking about men. We don't be on not girl, we don't cheat on not white. But with a white feel to a real man, and with the church is the Christ. Bro, I'm talking about men. Man up, man up, man up. Bro, I'm talking about men. Bro, I'm talking about men. Man up, man up. Bro, I'm talking about men. Bro, I'm talking about men. Man up, man up. Bro, I'm talking about men. Bro, I'm talking about men. Man up, man up. Bro, I'm talking about men.
Let's get a few things clear. Ain't no shady grab over here. Treating younger women like my sisters, but curving sisters if the vibe's weird. Love my wife, but got it to a fear. Right with God, my conscience in the clear. I don't need a one night stand when I'm treated like the man of the year. They don't need my contact, no. Creeping in my DMs on the low. Trying to get it closer with the boy, but the ring is staying on after shows. Real man, I'm handling my biz. Committed to my wife and my kids. Tired of seeing family on my grandma. I'm married man, it is what it is. Yeah, they say that all men cheat. They never seen a kingdom man who's breaking that rule. They say that purity is weak. I want to see him try to last a week in these shoes. They say that all men are greedy, but in the kingdom, love is law and lust is a cancer. They say we all got needs. I say objectifying women isn't the answer. Look around and I see broken men walking in defeat when they're supposed to win. We ain't gotta be enslaved to sin. We can walk in freedom and be whole within. Strong man makes a strong family. Strong families make a strong hood. Strong hood makes a strong city. So manning up is for the greater good.
Real men put Christ at the head of their life. Cause a real man of this power and prayer, so he pray every day and night. Bro, I'm talking about men. We don't be on not girl, we don't cheat on not white. But with a white feel to a real man, and with the church is the Christ. Bro, I'm talking about men.
Man up, man up, man up.
Bro, I'm talking about men. Bro, I'm talking about men.
Man up, man up.
Bro, I'm talking about men. Bro, I'm talking about men.
Man up, man up.
Bro, I'm talking about men. Bro, I'm talking about men.
Man up, man up.
I'm talking about men. I'm talking about men. I'm talking about men.